up? Welcome to the channel. I am Keish, and I want to talk about tribalism. And if you're a tribalist, come here, a little closer. Stop. Sake, I'm playing. I'm playing. So I want to talk about tribalism, but I want to talk about tribalism specifically relating to wrestling. So before we even get into that, I think we should go a little educational, right? So according to Merriam-Webster, tribalism is tribal consciousness and loyalty, especially exaltation of the tribe above other groups. And there's also another definition where it's like strong in-group loyalty, often combined with a negative view of outsiders. So we take those definitions, let's apply it to professional wrestling, right? So for me, I've been doing content almost a year now. And, me coming onto the scene doing content, I'm not aware of all the things that are used, honestly. So, imagine me feeling like an old lady and like, oh, I'm not keeping up with like the new slang. And I see the word tribalist a lot in comments. I see the word tribalism a lot in comments. I do also see that tension, and I'll use one specifically because I see it a lot. AEW and WWE. You have a lot of people that specifically watch WWE, and if they see something AEW related, it's just, oh, the blood is everywhere, and they just kind of have a panic attack, and it gets really messy. And me doing content, seeing the tribalists, word a lot, tribalism in general, I'm always like, what is that? So I looked it up, and I'm just like, oh, because I see it a lot. And, I use WWE and AEW as an example. You have a lot of people that watch WWE specifically. And, when it comes to other wrestling promotions, it's like, brother, like, I'm going to stay where I know I'm going to get storylines and I know I'm going to get wrestling. And it's kind of like a big sense of loyalty, and a lot of that I feel comes from too, a lot of us have grown up just watching WWE, honestly, because that's kind of, that was the bigger wrestling promotion, basically our whole lives. So it's always just been WWE. And then, you got all these really like big characters and storylines happening, World Wrestling Entertainment, or, even Federation if you want to go way back. But a lot of people have a sense of loyalty to WWE. And it's like when you have your other promotions come, you have your AEWs come, you have your TNAs, you have your New Japan, you have even the indie scene. A lot of people have this mindset of, I'm going to stick to what I know and everything else is kind of garbage. And it's really unfortunate because, not even to come at people that watch strictly WWE, you also have people at AEW. I notice, me doing content, there are a lot of people too where it's just like, they strictly watch AEW. If you say anything WWE, it's just like, now they're doing what? Why is it so important when Roman Reigns comes back? Why are they doing this? John Cena this and da 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 da. AJ Lee sucks. And it's just like, hold up. And it's one of those things where people, I feel like the loyalty is so strong. They'll see a clip or two clips of another promotion, and they just make this assumption in their mind of, oh, this promotion's garbage, my promotion is superior. Never watched it a day in their life. And it's really unfortunate because with me, I'm a professional wrestling fan. Like, I will watch anything. I am not just like, when AEW first started, I did watch it a bit, and then I fell off because the blood did get a bit much in some of their matches for me, if I'm being honest. But, I came back into it because now I feel like I'm in a place where I can just watch it and I enjoy it. And I think for me, my issue was I would go into, watching WWE my whole life, I would kind of go into things of like, storyline wise, I'm so used to WWE and storylines. So when I would watch other promotions, I would be like, why aren't they doing anything like anything else, anything entertainment wise, how WWE would? And I think that was my whole thing with that. I wouldn't just sit and, oh, this is a banger, this wrestling match, blah, blah, blah. But now that I'm older, I do. So now, I watch AEW more. And even, back in the day, I actually did watch TNA. I had a phase where I would watch TNA and I wouldn't really watch WWE as much. I kind of would flip-flop. And now it's in a place where I'll watch anything. If you're just like, oh, this indie promotion, these two wrestlers were going crazy, let me know, I'll write it down, let me check that out. And I think like it's unfortunate because you have a lot of fans who are missing out on a really great amount of wrestling. And I feel like professional wrestling right now is considered cool and mainstream. If you know, you've been watching wrestling kind of your whole life, you know, back in the day, for me anyway, like, I was considered like a nerd because I want to watch wrestling. I'm talking about wrestling. Or because I'm a girl, I would have people like, oh, you're just watching wrestling because you like the men without shirts. And it's just like, nah, I want to watch so-and-so get punched in the face, but go off, like, you know? So it's unfortunate because I feel like in today's era, we're finally in a place where professional wrestling is considered mainstream or cool. You have so much wrestling to consume right now, you know? And just not even in terms, you know, if you want to take it outside of storyline, just the wrestling part, you know? If you love wrestling. And that is one thing I will say I love about AEW, and that's really what got me into watching AEW more. AEW, they have great wrestling matches. And I feel like now I'm in a point where I'm like kind of seeing the storyline part come in a bit more for me. But I feel like wrestling wise, that's one thing I will always get them. You are not going to watch AEW and like, oh, this match is sucky. I feel like I have yet to really see something where I'm watching AEW and I'm just like, why'd they fight? This match was garbage. It's just nonstop. And that's why their pay-per-views are so good, because it's just like, Dynamite and Collision too. It's just good wrestling. And, you know, other promotions as well. And it's really unfortunate that, like, it also causes such a divide between wrestling fans. And it's like, we all like wrestling. So it's kind of like, why are you upset at someone else for enjoying, you know, another wrestling promotion? If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. But I think it's crazy the way people have such an extreme loyalty to one promotion, and it's just like nothing else matters, and it's like you didn't even give this a chance. And I've been in a place where, especially watching AEW, because I fell off watching AEW as consistently as I was, and that's just for me with doing content mostly, because I kind of at times notice it can be a lot to consume, because, you know, you have WWE doing like 80 pay-per-views. It feels, you know, them combined with AAA now, and then you have NXT, and then you have TNA. It's like a lot, you know, that's just boom, boom, boom. And it's like with the holidays coming up, it's kind of like dialed back. But at a point, it feels like WWE sometimes is kind of like I remember like 1 month, I feel like every other week or every week it was something, because it was when they were doing like Worlds Collide, then they had a pay-per-view, and then I think NXT had a pay-per-view, and I was just like, whoa. And it's a lot to keep up with everything WWE is doing right now, especially if you include just like regular, you know, stuff outside of NXT Raw. You have like LFG, you have Evolve, like it is a lot going on, and it's a lot to keep up with, on top of you adding in these other promotions of like, you know, you adding in your Wednesdays for AEW and your Saturdays for Collision, and then, you know, sometimes they do pay-per-view on the same day now and they compete, so it can be a lot, it can be draining. But I think that people need to be more open to give other promotions a chance, because you're missing out on some really good wrestling and just some like really great storylines too. You know, it may not be the storylines you're used to, especially if you're like WWE, but I feel like you can't go into other wrestling promotions expecting WWE level storylines of what you got back in the 90s. I feel like at a point it's just like, go into it if you just love wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan, go into it and just open your eyes and just see, okay, what this other promotion has to offer. And I think one thing for me with AEW, you always see the whole, even on Twitter, you know, Full Gear just happened. And, you know, Samoa Joe, everywhere the picture's floating, he became champion, he's bloodied up. I saw so many comments of like, why every time a title changes on AEW, I see blood? And you have a lot of people who take that, and it's just like, AEW's just a blood fest. And it's not. They actually have really good matches. And I think, you know, TNA does too, New Japan, they throw down over there. And I just wish wrestling fans would just step outside their comfort zone, a lot of them, see what these other promotions have to offer. And it's not like you're cheating or something. I feel like some people take it extreme, like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this. Like, it's like you're cheating on your boyfriend or girlfriend, and it's not. You're just a wrestling fan, and it's okay to step out of your comfort zone and to try new things. Like, you never know what you're gonna love or what you'll fall in love with or who, you know, you could get a whole new wrestler that you love. So I don't know. I think tribalism is crazy. I think everybody just kind of needs to just like, you know, if you love wrestling, go love wrestling with any promotion that you want. That is the end of my TED Talk and my rant. As always, thank you for watching, and please make sure you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.